Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with Dr. Laura Griffith Garland. A lot of G's. Sorry. You're a holistic inspiration coach and so much more. Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi, I work as a holistic inspiration coach and also as a shaman. I'm a Reiki master, and I also tutor math and science on the side because I like to keep my hand in on that.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure seeing you here. And your website is?
CharlestonReikiandTarot.com.
Perfect. Well, today, what do we have in store? I mean, we've had some great conversations in the past, and with what you do is pretty amazing. Let's share the details.
Sure. Today, I think we're going to talk about life purpose and destiny, because I've had a number of people asking about that, and it's the time of year for introspection, as we're just under 2 weeks short of the winter solstice.
Oh gosh,
and the days have gotten shorter, the nights have gotten a heck of a lot longer. Much of the country is much cooler, so we're spending time more inside, and there's that as the year winds down, there's the thought of, well, what are we going to do next? What's the next step? And a lot of people, I would have to say a lot of my millennial clients have really been asking, what's my life purpose? Because, they did all of the college and then get the first job and do all of that. And now they're like, wait, there's got to be something more than just going into the office or whatever they're doing. And so they're asking, what am I supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge question. That's one of those ones that humans have been asking since, well, we became human. So,
true.
No one has found the definitive answer, because what your life purpose is yours. Someone can't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be found. And it doesn't often just fall in your lap. Although it can come about by accident. Like, I kind of call myself the accidental shaman because I accidentally studied shamanism, although it wasn't really an accident at all. It might have been called a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences particularly. Yeah. It's all part of the process.
Okay.
Part of our journey. Part of our path. And if you want to know what your life purpose is, then you have to actually actively be seeking it, actively asking the universe for help, actively looking, not just passively sitting on your couch going, yeah, I'd love to know what my life purpose is. That probably won't get you there. I call myself an accidental shaman, but it was a whole series of things that led to it, and I kept going. I didn't stop. When I met the gentleman who taught me, I kept going back after the first time and kept learning for 3 years. I didn't just sit on my couch and go, yeah, that'd be good. So you've got to be an active participant in wanting to find your life purpose.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a lot of people think that the life purpose is a single thing. And that may not be the case, especially, I don't know, where we are as far as the energy of the earth and the number of people we have on the planet and everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. We may not have a singular life purpose. We may have a life purpose that shifts depending on what stage in your life you're in. So there was definitely a purpose, and it was really important that I joined the Navy and spent 6 years as a naval officer. That was very important. And that was a purpose at that time. But then that was done. There was a purpose when I was teaching high school. That was very important at that time. But then that was done. And so allowing yourself to understand that you can shift what's going on is really important, instead of like feeling like you have to find this one thing and lock yourself into it. In addition, it might not be your job, or at least not your job yet.
Mm-hmm.
You might be doing a life purpose as a hobby.
True.
Part-time, on the weekends, as a volunteer thing. Any of those. We live in a Western world where to keep a roof over our head and transportation and food going in our mouth, we have to make money.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do it. If you're not making money and you're couch hopping from friend to friend to friend, I'm not really sure how that's gonna do really well with your life purpose and everything that's going on. So, so you gotta make some money. So your life purpose may not be your job. It just may not.
True.
Or it might not be your job right now. You might not get to spend full time doing it until you retire.
Yeah.
So people who get really wrapped up into and start to get depressed because they're not doing their life purpose as their job, because I've seen this recently, and part of it's the lowering of the sunlight. Some people get more sad. Some people have sad seasonal affective disorder, and so as the sunlight lowers, they become more depressed. And so I've had people who, I'm not doing my life purpose, but they are doing something with it, and I've had to talk them through the fact that it's okay that it's not the only thing you're doing. Besides the fact, we kind of need a life too.
Yeah.
Your life purpose may, but probably shouldn't consume you, because we need connections with other people, relationships. Maybe you have kids, and especially if you have kids require money. There's stuff that goes along with that. And if you want to drop out of your job and just hang and try to figure out your life purpose, that might not be the best path right now, because we do live in the Western culture and we have responsibilities, if not to ourselves, then maybe to others. I shouldn't say that. We always have responsibility to ourselves. Always have responsibility to ourselves. It's just people get really caught up in this idea that it has to be this one thing, and it may or may not. And you may get the opportunity to work at it as your job, or you may not. But you have to stay really active with it, constantly exploring, constantly seeking, constantly pushing forward. Sitting passively, universe isn't gonna do a lot if you do that. Jill, you seem really like you love what you do.
I do. I love people. I love talking. I love communicating. I love,
So are you feeling that this is, for this part of your life purpose?
Yeah, I do feel like it kind of is, to talk to people, let them talk about themselves, learn about, I call myself a people person. So I do feel like it's part of my life purpose to maybe like enlighten people about themselves, to talk more about themselves, to discover more about them just by talking to me. Yeah, I do. Is that okay?
See, that's it right there. That's it right there. But you go home after work and have other things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people, like I said, people think that this should become an all-consuming idea, and that's not balanced. Because there has to be a balance. You have to balance between what you're doing for work and what you're doing for home. If you're doing it as a hobby, you still have to, now you got a three-pronged thing you've got to balance.
Yeah.
and, and you got to figure out how to balance all three of those prongs then. And because it is balance. If you neglect yourself in the middle of all of this, well, then you're going to get sick, because you've neglected yourself, or you may not get sick immediately, but you may set yourself up for something in the future. So it's really important to yes, pursue a life purpose, because then it gives you a feeling of meaning, but not to have it totally consuming. And then that brings us to a topic that's probably going to upset a few people. Soulmates. This all rolls in with the idea of a life purpose. Often is a soulmate, and people have some really, I think they're actually really super limiting ideas about a soulmate. A lot of people think that a soulmate is a singular thing and is only a partner that would end up being a sexual partner, lover, and of some sort. But that may not be the case. I've run across people who a soulmate was actually their grandparent. So there was nothing sexual at all. It was more of a mentor relationship sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that was a soulmate of theirs, was their grandparent. And the person didn't want to recognize that right away. And so they kept trying to chase a life partner as a soulmate. And the relationships never worked out, because that wasn't what it was at the time. The soulmate in their life at the time was their grandparent. And so they had relationship after relationship after relationship fail, because they this isn't a soulmate. So they just would toss away a relationship. And I've seen person after person do this and feel, oh, if I don't have my soulmate as my life partner, then my life has no purpose. So we're back to life purpose. And like I said, not all soulmates are life partners. They could have been your mother. They could have been your grandfather. They could have been your best friend in high school, in elementary school, your roommate in college, your business partner. Could end up being your business partner is your one of your soulmates. And I'm going to say one of your soulmates, because what I understand is that we actually have more like a soul circle. So there's a whole circle of people who could be considered soulmates.
And soulmates, but what is the word twin soul? Can you?
Oh, geez.
Do you know that? Am I getting off topic? But when you say
no, you're not getting off topic.
Is a soulmate a twin soul? A twin soul? Okay, got it.
That's a tiny pet peeve of mine. They call them twin souls or twin flames, and this is probably really gonna tick some people off, because I'm not really down with that idea. I've looked into the mythology from that, and there's a little bit of stuff from Roman mythology on that, but the way it often is portrayed, again, there's only the one. It's the other half of you that completes you, and if you don't have that, who cares? And I find that almost ridiculous when you think about the number of souls in existence, that there's only one who could possibly complete you.
Yeah.
And the idea that you're incomplete without that. I find that a bit, it actually really hurts me to think that people think that they're incomplete unless they have someone else. Because each person is complete. Now, is there a particular soulmate out there that might be closer to you than some of the others in your soul circle? Maybe. You might have signed on this lifetime to meet up with a particular one, and that's who you're working with.
Okay.
Again, I fully believe in reincarnation. So again, I say you might have signed on this lifetime to work with one.
That's amazing.
But maybe you didn't. Maybe your soul circle is just a circle that you keep rotating the people of the circle in and out. Like, one was your grandfather, and then your grandfather passed. So someone else in the circle comes in, and maybe it's your neighbor. And then, the neighbor moves, and then maybe someone else rotates in, and it is the person that you end up marrying.
Wow.
So and then maybe you find others, a business partner, a best friend. Again, it could have been a best friend in college. It could have been your roommate in college or something like that, who rotated in for a while and then they rotate out. Okay. And so again, getting stuck on, you have to have one in order to fulfill your life purpose, I think it's damaging, because it makes people feel like they haven't managed to do the important thing if they haven't found that person. And you might not have signed on this life for the person that you're going to marry to be your soulmate. We also need to expand our circles so that we get new life experiences. And maybe the only way to reach your life purpose is to have someone that you haven't incarnated with 15 times already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe you need to be with someone who's completely different from what you normally have worked with. And maybe that's how you find your life purpose, is by working with something so completely different that you open up to new and different. And so the twin flame thing, like I said, it hurts me because people think that they are not complete, that there's something wrong with them, that they're only half of a soul. Some of the way that it's worded out there states that you're only half a soul if you haven't found your twin flame, and that just hurts me, because I don't think in fracturing of souls that way. All of the shamanic work does not suggest that your soul is split into two pieces and is in two different bodies. I know that small pieces of ourself do dissociate when we have trauma. Yeah, a tiny piece of our soul will go off. Often it'll come back. Sometimes it doesn't. That's when you need a shaman to do a soul retrieval when it doesn't come back. But actually fracturing the soul into two pieces, I don't like that. I haven't seen the evidence for that. Somebody out there is going to get really mad about that, but
no, it's all right. You're entitled to your opinion and absolutely. Yeah. No. Wow.
Yeah. So being able to be with a soul partner, as your person that you marry or go into a very long-term relationship with, is awesome. But I got to tell you, it doesn't stop the arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. All right. Good.
It doesn't stop you arguing. It doesn't turn into this miraculous, perfect relationship where everything is, puppies and flowers and rainbows and
that. Yep.
unicorns unicorns, it just doesn't turn into that because we're still human. And it's very important for each partner to be themselves and not become this melded thing where you can't possibly have any differences from your partner, because then you don't learn. The differences between partners is how you learn. It's how you move forward. It's how you work your life purpose. Now, it's really awesome if your life partner has a similar life purpose. I get to say that my life partner, my husband, is part of my soul circle. And he has a very similar life purpose. Mm-hmm. He's a counselor. He and I own our center here, the Charleston Holistic Center. He does all of the mental stuff that's strictly DSM-5 and licensed mental health care. I do all the other stuff pretty much that has to do with your soul, with your emotions, with moving your life forward. So we mesh really well, but we're very different people.
Yeah.
And it took us a long time to work into our life purpose as it is now. When we get older, who knows? It may shift again. We don't know. So we've learned to not be stuck on this singular thing and see actually how much we can open stuff up and expand and move forward. And right now, I think the planet needs people to be open, expanding, and moving forward, not closing down, pulling back, and trying to return to some golden era that didn't actually ever exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Beaver Cleaver was a TV show.
Yes, I remember that. I remember.
Yep. And it was a TV show. It wasn't reality. There was no reality like that. I mean, some people's lives might have been sort of like that, but if you ever go back and watch the reruns, Beaver's always in trouble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Every single show was about him being in trouble. So trying to pull back and go back to a golden era, that golden era never existed. Not in the way people think of it. And so having people going for their life purpose right now is an awesome thing, because you're asking the universe to move you forward. You're asking to look for moving forward. And that is really the energy that I think we really need right now.
Yeah.
And as we come up to the new year, everybody's going to make their New Year's resolutions this year.
Yep.
Well, if you don't have your life purpose for right now, you can make a resolution to really work on it this year. And again, it may not be your job. It may be your hobby. It may be you volunteering for something. It may be part-time. It may not be possible for you to drop your job because, like I said, we got to have a roof over our head. We need transportation and to eat. And if we don't have money in a Western society, you can't do that. So, and that's pretty much for most of us a job, unless you've managed to win the lottery. I haven't yet, so.
I know, right? Oh, great. No, great conversation. Wow. And just to remind our listeners, your website, how we contact you. And we still have 3 minutes left in the show, but this is a good segue. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
It's Charleston Reiki and Tarot. Mm-hmm. Although you can also go to Charleston Holistic Center. That's our overarching business. And direct email is drlaura.coach. So drlaura.coach@gmail.com. Or phone. You can get our front desk at 843-259-8349.
Perfect. So we still have a few minutes left. What else do you want to share to sum up today's show?
Well, we didn't get to talk last week. So I wanted to say that all the stuff we talked about before Thanksgiving with families.
Oh, yeah. How did that go, by the way?
I did mostly good.
Did mostly good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we all go ahead.
There was a point where I've been married for more than 20 years. So my in-laws have known me for quite a while, and they know my buttons.
Yeah.
And tried to push a little, and I pushed back a little, and then I was like, wait, what the heck am I doing?
What the heck? Okay.
And but that was the thing. I was like, wait, what the heck am I doing? Don't do that. And so I managed to back out of it, and then amazing things. We apologized to each other. Like, that's never happened ever. So
great.
So it was actually really fantastic. How did yours go?
Well, unfortunately, I worked 2 jobs that day, but it was fine. I enjoy it. I got to also bring my kids to New York City to work the other job. So they got to see a little bit of the parade. We stayed at the hotel. So it was a good experience for them, And when you grow up in New York, you've been to the parade, you do it once and that's it. Now my kids are 4 and 6. So they come to work with me. I put them on television for a little bit. They had fun with that. It was good. And then, that was it. So I'll celebrate another time.
Well, we didn't actually do Thanksgiving itself. It was just my husband and I for that. But the day after, we had the family had rented a house, and we all converged because we're from all over the country. Yeah, and we're scattered all over the southeast-ish. Mid-South, I don't know, from all over, and we converged on the house, and it was really, like I said, it was really good. People really actually worked, because I talked with my husband before I went, and my brother-in-law, and
we set expectations,
cousin, and really worked on thinking about how to make it a really great experience, and so we did this year.
Great. Well, Dr. Laura Garland, again, thank you for being here. One more time, tell us the website.
CharlestonReikiandTarot.com.
Perfect. Well, looking forward to our next conversation. Thank you for your time today. And to all of our listeners, thank you for being here. Happy holidays. And we'll be right back after the break. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.